All right. Welcome to week 2, day 2. Today, our focus is going to be mostly on our shoulders. We're going to get a little bit of a shakeout for the lower body from our last workout, but for the most part, really focusing on loosening up the shoulders and the spine, so that plays a big effect into how our shoulders move. And then going through some upper body movements, making sure that we're doing them with our shoulders and our shoulder blades in the right position here. So equipment that you will need today for this is your straight bar, your dowel rod, your broomstick, a chair or bench, something to sit on. I use my stools as a bench. You could use a couch, a coffee table, a chair, anything like that. You will also need something that you can hold between your knees, something light. I'm using a Pilates ball. You could also use a yoga block, a pillow, anything like that, a stuffed animal. And then some light dumbbells for some upper body movement. So go ahead and grab those: broomstick, chair, bench, yoga block or ball, and then some light dumbbells. And we're going to get this party started here. So we're going to go ahead, hands on those hips, light bend through those knees, and we're going to send our hips all the way around in a nice big circle here. This is our assessment. How are you feeling? We focused on our hips on Tuesday. So here's a chance for you to notice how the front back side of those hips are feeling. Clearly, I need to get a little bit more coffee into me this morning. One more nice big circle this direction, and then we're going to switch and send the circle off the opposite way. Micro bend in those knees so that your center of gravity is staying directly between your feet. You're just pushing those hips out and around. So I'm stretching the front, now I'm stretching the side, now I'm stretching the back, and then the opposite side. One more big circles here. Good, and all the way back up. From here, we're going to heel toe our feet out to the side. So heel toe, till you get to a little bit of a stretch, but still comfortable position here. We're going to go hands on the hips, and we're going to do some hip tilts. So I'm going to push one hip down towards the ground, emphasizing the stretch to the upper half of the inside of my leg, and then I'm going to switch it off to the opposite side here. Remember to start really slow. We want to make sure that we're not stretching past the 3 out of 10 at the beginning. And as we loosen up, we could get into, that 4 out of 10 if it feels good. But really focus on the groin here. Always exhaling to drop deeper in. Once you drop into that really squishy spot, I want you to pause there for a second and relax the muscles around. So I find as I go into the stretch, because I'm tight, my quad starts to tighten up to protect me. I'm going to relax that quad and see if my hips can go a little bit more. Remember, I'm trying to stretch this area. So there's no reason that this quad muscle needs to tighten up. Coming back to neutral, and I want you to put that bowl of soup right in your pelvis here. Keep that soup without spilling, and we're going to move into a bit of a side lunge here. But you can go ahead and support yourself on your knee, either with your hand or your elbow. Feel that stretch go down the length of the inside of the leg now, and then we're going to come back up and off to the opposite side. Hanging out here for about 5 to 10 seconds, feeling that stretch. So really focused on the stretch and not the actual work that we're doing here. On Tuesday when we did this, the side lunges were work. Good. And we're going to add in a little bit of an arm movement here. So if you can reach your knee, you're going to go ahead and reach across to your opposite knee. And then that arm is going to rotate up towards the ceiling. And come on back down and up. Opposite side. If you can go lower, you can plant that down to the ground and then rotate open into it and down. So you have a choice whether you're stopping at your knee, rotating into those obliques and adductors, or if you're going to the floor, rotating open. If you're going all the way to the floor, the only thing I ask is that your hips remain lower than your shoulders. So if we're coming into this position, that doesn't count. I'd rather you go here. You'll get a better stretch. Let's go one more per side. And down to the opposite side. We're going to come more into these spinal rotations in a little bit. For now, heel toe those feet back in. until your feet are supporting you. We're going to stay nice and sturdy on these legs, and we're going to go into our side bench, reaching those fingers down our leg, coming off to the opposite side. Inhale up, exhale to the opposite side. Because our focus today is on the shoulders, I want you thinking about stretching off more the rib cage than down low. So if I'm coming up here and I push my hip out to the side, I stretch more along the hip. Keep the hips over the feet, and as you arch your body off to the side and really reach that arm, you're going to get more into that upper half of the lat and the obliques here. Our focus is on loosening up the areas around our shoulder blades so that our shoulder blades can move a little bit more free. One more per side. Very nice. All right, we're going to go ahead and grab that straight bar now. Broomstick, dowel rod, hockey stick, ski pole, golf club. We've seen some very interesting things used. We're going to start nice and wide. So you're going to find 3 positions on here. Position 3 is wide. Sorry, position 1 is wide. Position 3 is in front of our shoulders. So position 2 is right in between. And I'm going to guide you through these. So nice and wide first. With that nice sturdy stance through our legs, we're going to take our arms up and over and around. We want to feel this stretch across our chest here and down our biceps. So as we come up, we don't want to arch our back and feel that stretch through the abdomen. Keep that core engaged. Get those arms as far behind you as you can comfortably, and then come back forward. Not rushing that stretched position. If you can go all the way around, great. If you ever get stuck behind you, just let go of one side, bring it back to the front to restart. We're going to go into position 2 now, so a little bit closer together with those hands. So as we come up above our head now, it's going to be a little bit more restricted, and you're going to feel that stretch coming from the shoulder down to the rib cage as we go more into our pec minor. Not letting my stomach go forward, really pinching those shoulder blades together behind me to help get the shoulders a little bit more behind my head. As swimmers, we don't need to go behind our head, but we need to be able to get into that nice streamlined position. So we're just training a little bit beyond where we need to be. Last one here. Hang out there for a couple seconds. Core stays tight, stacked over the pelvis. And then we come down and we're going to move our hands into that close third position here. Going up, around. Are you able to get your biceps around your ears? And back down. Proud chest, arms come up, around, shoulder blades pull down. Shoulders should be getting tired now. A little bit of an activation as well as that warm up. Last one. We're going to hang out here for 10 seconds. A really long push and glide off the wall. 3, 2, 1, relax. Whew. Okay. You're going to put that bar down, but don't let it go very far. And I want you to get your bench or your seat. And I want you to get your ball or yoga block or stuffed animal, whatever you have. So we're going to take that object, whatever it is, make sure it's soft and light. You're going to put it right on the top of your chest, under your chin, and then you're going to give it a really big hug. So I'm reaching shoulder to shoulder here. If you don't have anything to use, that's okay. Give yourself a really big hug here. We're going to do a seated cat-cow position. So I've got that big hug across my upper chest, and now I'm going to round my spine forward, trying to stretch the back of my spine as much as possible. And then I'm going to inhale as I lean back, looking up at the ceiling. Imagine that I'm in a mid-back chair. So I'm not able to push that chair backwards. I'm trying to arch over top of it. And then we exhale back into our round spine. All we're looking for here is to lubricate those joints, get a little bit of movement through every vertebrae. Before you get into spinal rotations or into any deep rotation, you want to make sure that we've done a little bit of flexion, which is here, and extension, which is here. So I want you to come back to the center, that neutral position here. And we're going to go side to side now. So I'm going to send my arms one way, and I'm going to look my face the opposite way, like I'm wringing out my spine like it's a towel. Arms go the opposite way, head looks off to the other side. Inhale back to center, exhale the opposite way. Good. One more per side. Good. So you're going to take whatever light object that you're hugging, and you're now going to hold it between your knees. You're not squeezing it as hard as you can. It's just there as a reminder that for this next exercise, you're not allowed to rotate those legs. So that goes between the knees. You take your straight bar, and it's going to sit up right against the top of your shoulders. So if you look from the side here, I'm holding it right against the front of my neck, the back or the top of my shoulders, and then I'm going to cross my arms to hold the bar here. So my elbows are high. I'm going to take a deep breath in, pinch the ball together, and I'm going to exhale as I rotate to the side, looking down the length of the bar to see what I'm able to look at. I inhale back to the center, and I exhale to the opposite side. Once again, what is that bar pointing at? As we come back to the first side, I want you trying to go at least 1 millimeter further in your rotation. And this entire time, you're sitting up as tall as you possibly can. And you're hanging out in that rotated position for a couple seconds. Let your body adjust. The shoulders get tired. You can take a little bit of a break here. We're going to go 3 more per side, but we're going to do it with a double exhale, which is going to look like this. Big deep breath in, exhale to the side. When I can't go any further, I'm going to inhale again, and I'm going to exhale again. See that I can go a little bit further. Inhale all the way back to the center, exhale off to the opposite side. Pause when you can't exhale anymore. Inhale, and exhale and rotate again. Good. 2 more per side. Remember, the ball is between the knees, or the object is so that we don't rotate that lower body. Good. Last one here. Then you can go ahead, put that bar down, keep it close, but you can go ahead and put your ball down as well. We're going to use both of those objects in another minute. I'm going to shift up my equipment here to now give me a bench or something. So if you have a couch, a coffee table, a desk, it doesn't have to be this low. That surface could be waist height, table height. General guideline here, if that surface is lower than your hips around the knees, you're going to do this from your knees. If that surface is waist height or higher, say I'm using a desk or here, I'm going to be up on my feet. So go ahead and get your object ready that you're going to use. We're going to start with a prayer stretch. You can make a prayer with your hands. You can clasp into a fist. That's up to you. Elbows go up on your surface, and then you back your knees or your feet up to get your body as close to parallel as possible. You're going to inhale as those arms go forward, and you're going to exhale as your hands come backwards and you drop your chest down. So as I inhale, I'm not raising my chest up. I'm expanding my rib cage out to the side. Trying to find as much space and take up as much room in that rib cage as possible. And then as you exhale, you release it all and you try to get rid of all of it and drop that chest low. You may keep going with this version. If you'd like something a little stricter, your shoulders are feeling good, you can go ahead and grab your straight bar. You're gonna hold that straight bar with your palms facing up, elbows are on the surface. And as we curl this bar, you wanna make sure that that pinky side of your hand doesn't lift. So we're gonna go from here, exhaling as we curl backwards. Inhale, expanding the lats to the side. Exhale, dropping towards the ground again. Good. You can go ahead and release from whichever of those positions that you were in. We're going to go ahead and put our straight bar and our bench or our chair away. We won't need those again for the rest of the day. We're going to be down on the side. This is where that yoga block or pillow or ball might come in handy. So we'll keep that nice and close. We're going to start with our open book stretch here. So lying on our side, making sure that the ankles, the knees, and the hips stay perfectly stacked on top of each other. Our top arm is going to lift up and over, but you're not allowed to turn that lower body. So if you want, your bottom arm can hold your knees down so you can get a little bit of leverage to open up. If you have more space, keep that arm straight. If you're short on space like me, as I come towards my wall, I'm dropping my elbow to the ground as that shoulder rotates. I don't want you just straining your shoulder here. This is a spinal exercise. So it's about moving your shoulders as much as possible. And if you get to here and your shoulders can't roll anymore, doesn't matter if your arm goes any further backwards. Those eyes follow those fingers. Right. Let's go ahead and switch it over to the opposite side. Move up a little bit here. Inhale, exhale as you open. Make sure those legs don't rotate so you can hold them down if you need to. That exhale, make sure that it promotes relaxation, but it also empties our lungs with air so we can rotate further. Inhale to close, exhale to open. So we're going to switch here into what I call sunrise arms. So with your fingers stacked on top of each other here now, your legs can rotate on this one. The goal of this exercise is to get the back of the shoulders on the ground and roll the hips as much as you need to. So you're going to walk your fingertips up above your head, keeping them on the ground all the way around. If you need to bend that elbow, bend the elbow, but get the back of the shoulders on the ground here. And then we're going to close that back up. There's the sunset. So as we open up and you really reach that arm, we're targeting the mid to upper back now. And the farther you reach your fingertips all the way around, the more you'll take it into the shoulder and neck. Make that circle as big as possible. Take up as much space. Create as much space as you can within that joint. Remember, rolling of the hips is okay here. Last one. And when you're on your back, you're going to roll to your back here and then flip it over to the opposite side. And we're going to do that sunrise arms on our other side now. So walking those fingertips, rolling the hips if we need to, reaching as far as we can to get the back of the shoulders on the floor. And then we go back the opposite way. So notice where you kind of lose your breath. If you're really reaching as far as you can, I get to a position through here where it kind of takes my breath away and I want to hold my breath. And that's my body's way of protecting me as I start to get into some pinchy points. I want to make sure that I exhale to promote that relaxation to go into those deep, dark areas that I don't hit in my everyday life. Last one. And we're going to close it back up and we're going to stay on our side. So this is where that ball or that pillow comes in, nice and handy, just to support your neck. So we're going to start working on some internal and external rotation of the shoulder. We do this from our side lying position. And I want you to make sure you get that shoulder right underneath you here. My elbow is bent to 90 degrees with the palms pointing at my knee. I can shift my palm from pointing at my knee to pointing at my hip. The more I'm pointing at my hip, the more challenging this is going to be on your internal rotators. So start nice and easy and adjust as you need to. I'm going to take the hand I'm not using it and very lightly press down on the back of my wrist to feel that stretch through the outside of the shoulder. And then I'm going to stretch it out, go all the way backwards, get the back of my wrist to the floor if I can. If you're here, that's okay, but you're trying to close that gap between the wrist and the floor. We come back up, my elbow should stay in that same position, and I use a little bit of light pressure to press into my internal rotation. Stretch it out, release, right back into it. If you're pressing so hard that your shoulder lifts up, you're now compensating and you're not stretching. So get that shoulder right underneath you and be really strict about whether or not you let that shoulder lift. Go ahead and switch it over to the opposite side. So I'm right on my side. Elbow is right out from in front of my shoulder. Knees are bent, palm pointing at my knees. And I'm going to very lightly press down, stretching through the internal rotators here, which you'll feel through the outside of the shoulder. And then we release. So every time I come back into the stretch, I'm trying to go a little bit further than I did last time without going over a 3 out of 10 on the pain scale. So this is stretching out our internal rotators. We're going to switch over now to stretching out our external rotators. And we do that through our scarecrow position. So you guys are going to be on your back here on the floor doing your scarecrow. And I'm going to show you what it looks like by going this way. So imagine I'm lying on my back. My hands are in front of my shoulders. Shoulders are away from my ears. Elbows come down to the ground in line with my shoulders. And then I'm flipping my hands backwards. The goal is to get the back of the wrist onto the floor. If you're able to get your fingertips on the floor or maybe your knuckles, you could grab some light weight. And as you drop down into it, don't let the wrist break to get the fingertips down. Keep the wrist strong. And with those very light weights, just let them kind of pull you into that external rotation. And then we can come back up. So you can use that to hang out there. There should be no pain. And if you're not getting your fingertips to the ground, you are not ready to add weight to this one. As you're going through this exercise, I want to bring attention to where your low back is. Is your rib cage extended with that back up off the floor? Bring the hands back up. Use your abs to press your back flat into the floor, pulling that rib cage down, and then flip those hands backwards. Does that restrict you on how far you're able to go? In order to externally rotate our shoulder, we need to stretch from our shoulder to the rib cage. If we arch our back and lift the rib cage, you're shortening that muscle, which is a compensation. So you want to keep that back on the floor and then flip the hand backwards, keep the rib cage down to actually stretch this muscle here. All right, 3 more. Pressing those wrists into the floor, feeling all the muscles in the back of your shoulders light up. Good. So while we're here, we're going to go through our activation, starting with our glute bridge here. So feet flat on the ground. We're going to start our glute bridge as a stretch to the thighs first, if you're sore from Tuesday. So when we do our glute bridge as a stretch, we do it with a really hard pelvic tilt. So you're going to pull your pubic bone up to your chin so hard that your tailbone lifts up off the ground, and then lift the hips and get that stretch through the quads here. If that's just not enough stretch for you, flip over to the knees, lean back on the hands, and lift the hips up. Just a little bit of a stretch out here. I promise that today was shoulder heavy, so we haven't done a lot of lower body stretching yet. We just did a little. Whatever position you're in, switch back onto your back. And now we're going to go into our glute bridge for activation, which means we do it with a neutral spine. So I want you to engage your core, pull your pubic bone up enough to engage the core, but not enough that that tailbone lifts under. That's going to stay like that as I now squeeze my butt and I pivot to the back of my shoulders using the muscles in my posterior chain. And then I drop back down on my inhale. Exhale up. Inhale down. Let's go 9 more here. This is all about getting those butt muscles woken up and turned on. So play around with your foot position, your knee position. What spot do you get the best squeeze through your glute? Where's that core? Is it tight? Is it engaged? Good. We're going to flip on over to our hands and our knees now for a little plus push-up. So with our plus push-up, we're getting our shoulder blades moving towards our spine and away from our spine. So to start, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and then pull the shoulders as far away from your ears as you can. You should feel these muscles right under your armpits engaged to do that. And now we're going to pinch our shoulder blades together behind us. And keeping the shoulders away from the ears, you're going to pull your spine up towards the ceiling, thinking about stretching the area from your shoulder blade to your spine. Pinch the shoulder blades to the spine, press the spine towards the ceiling. We're going to do 10 of these. Pinch, extend. Shoulders as far away from the ears as we can. All these muscles around the shoulders are going to be warmed up and working. So this is getting our shoulder blades warmed up horizontally. Now we want to get them warmed up top to bottom. So you're going to lift up onto your toes here. You're going to go from a plank position over your wrist, pressing backwards to a downward dog. Shoulders should stay away from your ears the entire time. So now the muscles that move your shoulders up and down have to turn on to support the shoulder blades here. Bend those knees a little bit so you can get your chest closer to them as we go back and forth. If that doesn't feel good on your wrist, you can drop to the knees, coming back shoulders over the hands, and then pressing back closer to your child's pose or puppy pose here. Really making sure that you're holding those shoulder blades as far away from the ears as possible. And we should get about 10 of these in. Drop back to those knees, grab a little bit of a drink of water or coffee or whatever you're sipping if you need it. And we're going to go through those activation exercises one more time, starting with our glute bridge. So over onto our back, 10 reps through each exercise, glute bridge plus push-up, and then that down dog exercise. So nice, tight, engaged core here so that my pubic bone is lifted, but not my tailbone. And then I squeeze my butt and I raise up. For round 2, you're welcome to put a resistance band around your knees or a dumbbell on your hips to make it challenging if you need to. I'm going to go for range of motion and really focus on my mind-muscle connection. Good. So your glutes and your hamstrings should really be the only thing working, as well as your core. Flipping over to the hands and the knees for the plus push-up. Remember, the plus push-up is the shoulder blade push-up only, not your arms. If it's too easy from the knees, you are welcome to take it up to that push-up position. Just remember, our elbows aren't working. Inhale as that chest drops. Exhale to push away. Last but not least, plank position, shoulders away from our ears, pressing back into that downward dog and back forward over top of the shoulder. Make sure we're not stopping here, that you're getting your chest to right on top of the shoulders. Very nice. All right. Make your way up to a stand when you're done. Very slowly. We've been on the ground for a while, so no dizziness. Grab a drink of water or coffee, if that's what you're sipping this morning. And we're going to start our workout now. So our first exercise is actually going to use that broomstick if you still have it handy. I know I told you to put away earlier, but we do have one more exercise. And it's only for the first round, unless you'd like to use it for more. If you happen to have a barbell in your house and you can add weights to that barbell, you are welcome to use that. So with this, we're going to hold our palms pointing forward. Our first exercise is an RDL with a row. So we're going to have a soft bend in our knees with that core tight. I'm going to hinge my hips backwards. So I come into my Romanian deadlift position. That bar shouldn't go below my knees. Now from here, I'm going to pause and I'm going to pull my elbows back, sliding that bar right up to my waist, making sure I've got a really proud chest and I'm not dipping the shoulders forward. Then the hands go down and then I stand up. There are 4 motions to this exercise. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you want to do a bent over row and stay here, you are welcome to, but we're doing the exercise for a minute. And I do find when we spend a minute in that position, it can get a little bit tough on the low back. So if you choose to do your bent over row and just slide that bar up and down your legs, you are welcome to. If you need to stand up and stretch your back, you can do that. RDL and row. Down, row, down, and up. Round 1 using a straight bar. Because of the direction, it allows you to slide up your legs. Rounds 2 and 3, I'm going to get you to use dumbbells or resistance bands if you have them, because you already know the direction that I want you to go. Your second exercise here that you're doing is a standing side crunch. So we're going to be going 4 rounds through this. We're going to do 1 side per round. I want you to imagine that I've got that post going straight through your belly button. That post doesn't move. All your body can do is rotate around it. So you're going to let your body crunch to one side, lowering that dumbbell. And then we're going to use these muscles. I'm going to crunch my rib cage to my hip. And then I'm going to let these muscles stretch. And then I'm going to crunch my rib cage towards my hip here. Okay? We're going to do that for 30 seconds. And then we're going to switch back to our RDL with a row. So round number 1 is with your broomstick, or if you have a barbell you want to use, you're welcome to use that. And that's just to get the guidelines. Rounds 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more direction there. I'm going to get a bit of a heavier dumbbell for my side crunch. And let's get that timer started. So grab a drink of water, get your weights ready. So a minute of your RDL with a row. Straight into that side crunch. Four times. All right, we're starting here in 10 seconds. With your straight bar, your broomstick, whatever you're using, palms facing forward, proud chest, engaged core. Here we go. hinge, row, and up. What I love about this exercise is we're using our entire posterior chain. You should be feeling your hamstring. You should be feeling your butt. And if you choose to hang out down here, you're welcome to. But with the very light weight or no weight you have with your broomstick, are you still able to activate all those back muscles? We've got 20 seconds to go here. If you have pain or discomfort in the front of the shoulder, as long as it's under a 3, we're going to stay where you're at here. But if you don't have pain, it's feeling good, we're going to up that for the next round. Go ahead and switch to that side crunch. Get your weight. So just going down your leg enough that you get a stretch from rib cage to hip, and then squeeze that rib cage to hip. So I'm using the opposite side that I'm holding the dumbbell in. Core should be engaged. Pull that belly button in to protect the spine so we can work the outer unit of our core. Inner unit should be turned on this whole time. Rest. Good. So round number 2, you can go ahead and switch to dumbbells for your row, but I still want your palms facing forward. So I want you to use that same guideline that we had of pulling the bar, following the line of my leg. Now, if your legs are pointing up like this, you've got to bend your knees and stick your bum further back so we can follow the angle right back into our hip. And then up, okay? So round number 2, go. If you have a resistance band and not a weight, you put that resistance band around your wrist with those palms pointing forward, and you're sliding them up, down, and then sliding up. Really proud chest, making sure that the shoulder, that head of the arm doesn't dip forward. Good, halfway. So we want to be feeling these muscles right here, all across the low portion of the upper back. On the bottom half of your rib cage, you should be shutting off these upper traps here. Couple more. Relax. Grab your dumbbell in your opposite hand this time if you're using a different one. Soft bend in those knees. We go down and then we come up. Keep that core tight. I'm using the opposite side now. So I want you to listen. Are you rotating, being pulled to the front or being pulled to the back? We want to go directly to the side and then back up. Relax. So as we go into number 3 for our row, we're going to shift your hand position again. The easiest position to keep your shoulder blades in position is with your palms pointing forward. So we're going to make it a little harder by going palms facing in towards each other. So it's the same motion, the same line, but now my hands and my arms are in a different position. Your goal is still to disengage up here and to use these muscles, okay? Here we go. RDL, row, down, and up. You're still following that line of your thigh to come up, pinching the low part of your shoulder blades together. You got it. Are you able to disengage those traps with the hands and arms in a little bit of a different position? Last 10 seconds of this exercise. And relax. Back to that weight for your side crunch, the first side that you did. I don't remember what that was. I think it was this one. And up. Halfway, a couple more side crunches. Not a very big movement. 2, 1, relax. So you have 3 different options we've done. We've done with the broomstick pulling in is the easiest because your hands don't move independently. Dumbbells with the hands facing forwards, next easiest. Dumbbells with palms facing in, getting a little bit more difficult. And now palms facing backwards. So if you had pain in any of the previous ones, I want you to stick with one of the previous variations. But if you're feeling good, I want you to point those hands backwards and see how difficult it is now to keep the shoulder blades from shrugging. Okay, here we go. So back, you'll notice that my elbows with my palms facing backwards have to go more out to the side now, which is the challenge because the further out to the side our elbows get, the harder it is for our shoulder blades to stay in place as we start using muscles further up between the shoulder blades. I still want you deactivating these upper traps. That's your main goal here for this exercise. Got it. Your back should be burning in a good way. Not a lot, just a little bit. 2, 1, relax. Switch it over last time for those side crunches. Equal, plant those feet, get that bar going right through our belly button. So we're rotating around that belly button. We're not pushing our hips to the side to come down. If you're only moving an inch, that's okay. Relax. Very good. All right, we're done with our first circuit here. You can go ahead and put your stuff to the side. Don't need that straight bar anymore. We're going to be on the floor here, doing a chest press. So you can go ahead and get your dumbbells set up for what your appropriate chest press weight would be. And in a perfect world, the weight that you used for your row should be equal to the weight that you use for your press. I find in everyday life with the clients I work with right now, we're stronger in our press, mainly because we recruit our traps and shoulders way more than we should. So when we're isolating and getting the chest working, it's not as strong as when you recruit other muscle groups, but it will take pressure off of the shoulders, which for a lot of us is what we need to do. So we're going to do our chest press here, but we're going to target the chest by lifting the hips into our glute bridge, and you're going to hold your glute bridge position here as we alternate one arm down and then the other, okay? Similar to what we did with the first exercise, I'm going to alternate your hand position every round we go. So my palms for the first round are going to be pointing each other. That is the easiest position to keep my shoulder blades down. As that arm comes down to my side, the elbow is tucked right in close to me, okay? So I'm going to show you the hand position standing, because it'll be easier than with seeing me on the floor. Round number 1, your palms are facing together. Round 2, we're going to go a 45 degree to the side. And round 3, we're going to go palms facing behind us with those elbows coming right out. The goal as we go through this is to work your chest here and not the shoulders. The decline position, if this is our chest and these are our hips, are going to help you do that because it puts your shoulders and your traps down here. But I want you to see how just changing your hand and arm position can challenge those shoulders in different ways. Your goal is to keep them completely deactivated out of it. We're going to do that for a minute. If at any point your hips or your back gets sore here, that means you're not using your core. Come back down to the ground, readjust, and then right back into it for your alternating chest press today. A minute is a long time, which is why we're alternating with it. Your second exercise, we're going to flip on over. We're going to do a plank. From your plank position here, I want us focusing on holding the plank through our lats, not through our shoulders. So it's going to be the same thing we did in that plus push up of pulling our shoulders away from the floor and then pinching them together behind us without letting the hips drop. And we're going to do a 30-second plank hold. So I'm going to add a little 10-second rest in between the two exercises to allow us to get into it. So get your dumbbells for your chest press. Grab some water. And we've got just 3 rounds of this, not 4. We start in 10 seconds. So on your back, dumbbells in hand, lift those hips up. With your palms facing together, you're going to alternate one arm up and then the other. Keeping those shoulders far away from the ears, core and glutes engaged. Good work. Just about halfway here. I think I set mine up a little bit too heavy. Never be afraid to switch mid-set if you need to. Our goal is to leave these workouts feeling better, not worse. So how much do you feel your chest? And how hard is it to keep your shoulders from shrugging? Good. Relax. Dumbbells go down, and we're flipping over into our plank. You can plank from your hands and your knees to focus on holding to the back, through your feet here, or from here. It's your choice. Here we go. 30 seconds. Shoulders away from ears. Pinch the shoulders together. Raise the hips up. Think about pulling that pubic bone up towards your chin. Halfway. Three, 2, 1, rest. All right, we're moving to our second round. The only change here is that we're taking our palms from pointing each other to turning them 45 degrees, which means my elbows are now going to come 45 degrees away from my side on my chest press. I want you to compare how much work you feel your chest doing versus how hard it is to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Here we go. Hips go up, core is engaged, 45 degrees away, up and down, up and down. So I'm going to give the spoiler away here. The farther your elbows go away from the side, the easier it is to feel your chest working, but the harder it is to keep your shoulder blades in place. So your goal is to find where can I work my chest the best without having my traps and my shoulders take over. So I'm showing you 3 different positions here, but you can always play around with them as we go through into the future. When we do this exercise, you'll know your elbow position that is the best for you. If your hips are taken over, you can rest, come back up. Over to our plank. You can use the same variation. You can change to a different one. That's up to you. Here we go. Think about sliding your elbows or your hands down towards your feet, keeping that core engaged, shoulders away from your ears. I want you to be trying to feel this more in that low back, in the lower upper back than in the shoulders. 10 seconds to go. Pull your chest through your shoulders. Proud chest. 3, 2, 1. Rest. All right, we have our final rounds here. So with this one, your palms are facing at your feet. Elbows are coming to the ground right out to the side from your shoulders. This will be the hardest one to keep the shoulders away from the ears, but should be the one you feel the most chest in if you can keep the shoulders out of it. It's always that clause. So shoulders away from ears, elbows come down to the ground, core engaged, lift those hips, and now here we go. So while I do feel my chest, I feel my shoulders working quite a bit. And I don't find that I get as much of my chest working as I do when my arms are down here. And that's what I wanted to notice, you to notice, as I walk you through these 3 different positions today. You got it, 15 seconds. Two, one, relax. Flip it over for our last plank exercise for the day. Starting in 3. Here we go. Shoulders away from ears. Pinch those shoulder blades together. Pubic bone lifts towards your chin. Proud chest here. We are halfway. Five, 3, 2, 1, rest. So I want you either to bring those knees apart from each other and drop down into your child's pose position, or you can keep those knees together, walk the hands forward into your puppy pose. Either one is okay and it's up to you. It's a recovery position. As you inhale, expand that belly. As you exhale, try to melt into the floor. Now, this next one may not be attainable for many of you. And if you're unable to sit like this on the floor, I'll show you the alternative in 1 second. But we're going to stretch out the ankles, leaning back on those hands, lifting the knees off the ground, keeping the butt on the ankles. Just feel that stretch. If that's not attainable for you, come up to your feet, go onto the back of your toes, and just kind of press that top of your foot into the ground here, curling the toes up onto the knuckles. I don't really have a lot of body weight on that foot, but I am stretching that front of my ankle here. And switch sides. So you can be on your knees and do both at the same time, or you can be here standing, doing 1 foot at a time. If you have a door frame handy, you're going to go stand in your door frame, elbow to fingertip on each side of the door, and press your chest through. If you don't have a handy door frame, you can find a bar or even the wall. Fingertip to elbow on the wall with that elbow in line with the shoulder, and we're turning away to give the chest a good stretch here. If you know you're someone who has a really tight chest and you work from home, I like to play a little drill where every time you walk through a door frame, you have to put your arms up and do a 5-10 second stretch. Go ahead and ease off on that stretch. Slide your hand up so your elbow is now up in a 45-degree angle, and then turn away again. And that stretch is now going to go down the side of the chest to the rib cage. Relax. If you're up on the door frame, you already did both positions. Go ahead and go back down, elbow in line with the shoulder again, and give another lean through. And then we're going to ease off, slide up, and turn away again. Now pulling down this way. The last stretch I wanted to do with you today is for your lats down here. So whatever you're holding on to, door frame works well. You're going to be holding with that thumb pointing down. And you go this side, thumb pointing down, same leg backwards. And I'm trying to hang myself off this bar to get as much of a stretch as I can down the lat here. Alternatively, if you have a bar you can hang from, you could do a dead hang as well. Grip on, bend the knees, take as much weight into those arms as you can, feeling that stretch through the lats below the shoulders. So in that door frame with the thumb pointing down or hanging this way is good. If you're in your door frame, switch arms. Remember, thumb pointing down, same leg going backwards. And release. Nice work today, everybody. That is it for the day.